Mid-size vans are the unsung heroes of the Australian economy, getting the job done without fuss or fanfare, keeping the wheels of business turning. But for those who drive them day in, day out, choosing the right van to suit your specific needs is far from easy, which is why we've brought our top 6 contenders together for the Car Sales Best Commercial Van Awards.
Our lineup includes Ford's Transit Custom with its well-equipped and well-protected load bay, Peugeot's Expert, a recent newcomer to Australia's mid-size van scene and the only van on test here with rear barn doors, Volkswagen's Transporter, which offers the highest brake towing limit at 2.5 tonnes, Toyota's new 6th generation HiAce, an all-new platform that sees the old cab-over engine format make way for a semi-bonneted design, Hyundai's iLoad with its potent turbo diesel and rear-wheel drive, and Renault's Trafic, the only vehicle on test to feature a manual transmission. To assess our half-dozen contenders, we put each through 5 testing stations, with our panel of experienced judges scoring the vans across a range of criteria.
So this is our weight testing station. Obviously these vans built to do a job, really important that we get an idea of what they're like with weight in the back. So we've loaded each one up with 650 kilos, and the other thing that we're learning through loading them up with weight is how easy they are to load, how accessible the load bays are. So Peugeot Expert, only van we've got on test here today that's fitted with barn doors, makes loading a lot easier if you're using a forklift and a pallet. Certainly the best equipped load bay of any of the vehicles on test today has got to be the Ford Transit Custom. It's got a nice sturdy floor liner, got grab handles at the side apertures. The tie-down points are mounted towards the base of the walls, not in the floor. So it basically gives you a bit more flexibility when you're securing a load.
While the Peugeot has the highest payload limit and the Volkswagen the highest brake towing limit, our judges deemed Ford's Transit Custom to offer the best all-round mix of load lugging ability, functionality and practicality. The Ford simply has the best equipped load bay of the bunch, with excellent protection and access, capped off by roomy dimensions and competitive payload and towing limits. The Toyota's Spartan but wide load bay will suit custom fit-outs, and the Peugeot and the Renault impress for their space and ease of use.
When you think about the amount of hours people actually spend behind the wheel of a delivery van, it's like an office on wheels. It makes perfect sense that we focus on comfort, ergonomics and safety. So it probably seems like a really basic thing, but grab handles are really convenient for vehicles of this height, and yet only 2 of them on test have them. Rearward visibility is proving to be quite a differentiator here. So for the Volkswagen to not have a rear view camera, the only one on test that is, it's doing it no favours. So the Hyundai iLoad has provision for 3 occupants, but the centre one only gets a lap belt and no headrest. But on the assumption that you're probably only going to have 2 occupants for most of the time, this is actually pretty useful.
Toyota's HiAce triumphed in this field, its new design ultimately delivering a substantial improvement over its predecessor and its assembled rivals. The HiAce also scored well for its long list of cutting-edge safety features, which, like in the Peugeot, are standard inclusions. The Hyundai, however, is starting to show its age. It still offers a decent level of comfort and has all the safety essentials, but misses out on many of the latest generation features.
At this station, I'm looking at cabin technology and connectivity, and these are really important features given the amount of time that drivers spend behind the wheel of these vehicles. The HiAce is the newest vehicle on test, and it's got a lot of the driver assistance technologies and infotainment technologies that drivers are looking for. However, I'm a bit surprised about the lack of storage options that I've got in the HiAce compared to some of the other vehicles that we're testing. For instance, I've got my phone plugged in here, but there's nowhere obvious for me to put it when I'm ready to hit the road. In the Expert, there's loads of great storage opportunities. There's a spot here where we can pop an A4 folder or similar. We've got a spot very sensibly where I can put my phone when it's plugged in. And then there's other clever storage ideas too. I mean, here, we've got a great little spot where we can pop an iPad or something similar and keep that stowed. And then even under the seats here, more room there for bits and pieces. There's just lots of usable space, and I think it makes a lot of sense for a commercial van.
Ford's Transit Custom rose to the fore in this category, where it shined for its intuitive and informative instrumentation, its Sync 3 multimedia system and its wealth of features, all aimed at making life behind the wheel both easier and more efficient. Peugeot's Expert also performs strongly, with a high level of standard technology and healthy cab storage, including dedicated room for a tablet or small laptop. The Volkswagen Transporter, however, didn't fare as well, thanks in part to its tiny infotainment screen and lack of standard inclusions, like a reversing camera, versus its purchase price.
My part in this massive puzzle is the driving experience. I get to drive each of the vehicles around a set loop, and I'm looking at things like obviously engine performance, but also the gearbox, how that performs. I'm looking at steering weight and feel. I'm looking at ride quality. The Renault stands out in this company, Rod. It's the only vehicle here with a manual transmission.
It is, but it's a particularly nice one.
Not sure how you'd feel about it after a full day at the wheel in traffic, but as far as I can tell, if you're going to have a manual, you might as well have this one. I like the refinement of this vehicle as well, Rod. I find it very easy to drive. I think they've set the suspension up very deliberately for ride comfort in the front end, so it is quite plush, but I'm not sure that that's going to be the right setting in all conditions.
Yeah, well, and that plushness was amplified a little bit, wasn't it, when we had 650 kilos in the back.
Look, it did handle the weight pretty well, but when we were coming through those bends and hitting the odd mid-corner bump, that's when you get that little bit of unsettled feel around the front end. It really gets off the mark really well. The throttle response is, I would say it's the most responsive vehicle on test. Yeah, I think this just reaffirms my initial impression around performance. It's really peppy.
On the road, it was Renault's Trafic that truly delivered, impressing for its smooth shifting 6-speed manual, broad spread of usable urge, impeccable road manners and a degree of poise the others struggled to match. Close behind was Ford's Transit Custom, which felt almost sporty despite having the lowest output of the bunch, and Toyota's HiAce, which delivered a refined and responsive drive. At the other end of the field, Hyundai's iLoad still does a dependable job but couldn't quite match the others for feedback, steering feel and overall refinement. Finally, we put each vehicle under the microscope to assess its pricing, service terms and ongoing running costs, while using our own wealth of Red Book data to compare average resale values. Once again, it was Ford's Transit Custom out in front. Its mix of purchase price, running costs, warranty and service provisions, putting it at the head of the pack.
After weighing up all our judging criteria, there can only be one car sales best commercial van, and that is Ford's Transit Custom.
The Transit Custom simply represents the most compelling mid-size van package available today. Ford has carefully considered each and every aspect of van ownership and come up with a highly functional vehicle that places the driver at the very centre of its design philosophy. It's a tough act to follow and a very worthy winner of our Best Commercial Van Awards.